You know, every time you click a link, you're basically kicking off this incredible, invisible journey. It's kind of like the internet is this giant, super fast postal service. But how does it know exactly where to deliver your digital package? Well, that's what we're going to unpack right now.
No, I mean really, stop and think about that for a second. You click on a cat video, right? And this tiny little request just shoots out into a digital universe with billions, literally billions of devices. So how in the world does that video find its way to your specific laptop on your Wi-Fi and open in the exact browser tab you have open? Why not your email app? Why not your smart TV? It honestly feels like magic, but it's not. It's all thanks to a really brilliant system of digital addresses.
Okay, so the best way to wrap our heads around this is to think about something we all know, the regular old postal service. If you want to send a package, what do you need? You need a street address, right? Maybe an apartment number, and of course, the name of the person it's for. Well, the internet does pretty much the exact same thing, just for every tiny little piece of data.
So just like that physical package, a digital one needs 3 different addresses to make it to its destination safely. You've got the location address, or the IP, the hardware address, which is the MAC, and the application address, or the port. The IP gets it to the right neighborhood, the MAC finds the exact house, and the port delivers it to the right person inside. So let's break down each one of these.
All right, first up, the one you've probably heard of, the IP address. This is the big one. It's all about finding the right general location out there in the massive world of the internet.
So here's the deal with an IP address. It does 2 really important things. It identifies your device, and it gives its location. Think of them as digital coordinates. So, sticking with our postal analogy, if the whole internet is a giant city, your IP address is the street address. It's what gets the delivery truck to the right building.
And you know what's wild? These addresses have actually had to evolve. The original system, IPv4, gave us about 4 billion unique addresses. Back in 1983, that probably sounded like an infinite number. But then the internet just exploded, and we literally started running out of addresses. It's crazy. That's why we now have IPv6. The number of addresses it provides is so ridiculously vast, it's hard to even wrap your mind around it. We are definitely not going to run out of those anytime soon.
Okay, so the IP address got our digital package to the right building. Great, but how does it find the specific apartment inside that building? Well, that's where the MAC address comes into play.
So here's the key difference. Your IP address can change depending on where you are, at home, at a coffee shop. But a MAC address? That thing is permanent. It's a unique serial number that is literally burned into the network hardware of your device, your phone, your laptop, even your smart TV, the second it's made. It is the permanent, unchangeable apartment number for your device.
And the way they're structured is actually pretty clever. The first half of the address tells you who made the hardware, like Apple, Samsung, or Intel. The second half is just a unique serial number that company assigned to it. It's a simple system, but it basically guarantees that no 2 devices on Earth should ever have the same MAC address.
So if you're ever poking around in your computer's network settings, you might see a MAC address written in a few different ways. Sometimes with colons, sometimes with periods, but don't let that throw you off. It's all the same unique hardware ID. They just format it a little differently to make it easier for us humans to read.
All right, we're so close. The data packet used the IP address to find your home network. It used the MAC address to find your specific laptop. But wait, the journey's not over. Now it has to find the right application running on your laptop. And this is where the port address comes in. Now, a port isn't a physical thing you can touch. It's more like a logical doorway that's assigned to a specific app. It's how your computer knows, okay, this data is for the web browser, this other data is for the email client, and this data is for that online game. In our postal analogy, this is the recipient's name on the package. It's the final piece of the puzzle.
So, how many of these digital doorways does a device have? A lot. To be exact, there are 65,535 of them. That is a huge number. It means your computer can be having over 65,000 different digital conversations all at the same time. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Now, to keep all this from being total chaos, some of these ports are standardized. They're like famous addresses. For example, pretty much everyone agrees that port 80 is for regular web traffic. So when your browser wants a web page, it knows to go knock on port 80's door. Same thing for email, which usually uses port 25.
These common agreements are what keep the whole internet working so smoothly.
And these ports are all organized into different ranges. You've got the first group from 0 to 1023, which are the well-known ports for all those essential services. These are managed by a group called the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, or IANA. Then you have registered ports for specific apps. And finally, a big chunk of dynamic or private ports. These are the ones your browser grabs for a temporary connection every time you visit a new website.
Okay, so let's put it all together. Let's follow one little data packet on its entire journey from start to finish. So there you have it. The IP address is the street address. It gets the data to your network. The MAC address is the apartment number. It finds your specific laptop among all the other devices in your house. And the port address, that's the recipient's name, delivering the data to the correct application, like your web browser. Street address, apartment number, recipient's name. It's an incredibly elegant system, and it happens billions and billions of times every single second all across the globe.
When you get right down to it, it all boils down to this one simple, powerful idea. This whole complex system exists for one reason: to give every single device a unique address, so it can reliably send and receive data. I mean, without this system, the internet as we know it just wouldn't work. It couldn't exist. So as we keep connecting more and more of our lives to the internet, everything from our cars to our light bulbs and even toasters, every single one of those things gets its own unique set of these addresses. And that kind of makes you think, right? In a world where everything has its own digital postal code, what does this massive collection of digital identifiers really say about who we are, both online and off? It's just something to think about. Thanks for joining me.